What are you gonna think of it? Check it out. Just doing a drive-by? Okay. What are you doing, you little terror? That's right. I'm not. The contrast on this video is low. Oh, I got it. I'm gonna ride in a Bitless Bridle today for the first time ever. Actually, I don't know if that's necessarily a true statement. So I have ridden Trin many times in our halter. I've also ridden with just a neck rope. I would say our degree of steering and brakes is relatively low with a neck rope, but I would still argue that we have a little bit of fluctuation. If we're walking, I can halt. If we're cantering, just kind of along for the ride. So that's, you know, something we need to work on. But I've never actually ridden in a bridle that's specifically designed to be ridden bitless. And I am beyond excited, over the moon to test this out, riding it. I got myself the Nalanta bridle, which Trent, I believe, is the one that designed it. He's the one that sells it. I kind of chose this one because I like the crown style, because I like the crown piece style that has somewhat of an anatomical design to it. I wouldn't say it's the most. I don't think it's necessarily up there with like this quantum bridle or the Subin freedom bridle. But I think putting the effort there is gonna help relieve some pressure across her pole. I also like the noseband on this one because it is wider across the bone of her nose, where peak pressure points have been noted to be in nosebands on horses. So I'm interested in this, I'm intrigued. Hopefully it disperses pressure better on her face. I don't actually know if that's true because I don't have a pressure mat. So me saying it does or it doesn't, actually, I don't know. But that's my hopes, that's my dreams. I finally got myself a Bitless Bridle to try out because me and my sister have been doing a shoot ton of research over the last couple of weeks of looking into the science and the how bits are working on our horses, as well as how bitless is affecting our horses. Is one actually better than the other? What are the arguments in favor of each? I don't think I want to get into that throughout this entire video, but I'm really excited to try this option out because I have bridles, right? I have a Micklem anatomical bridle, and then I have just a regular standard bridle. Both are designed to be worn with a bit. You know, I can't really just take the bit off and ride in them without the bit. So I'm really excited to have at least this other option that I can test out on my horse and have available for me to use, utilize, and whatever else, you know what I mean? So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna go grab my pony, tack her up, brush all the mud off of her that she's decided to wear like a second skin, and then I'm gonna get on and ride her like, I don't know, not like a Bronco, but 10 out of 10. Is that a crack in the brick? Sorry, I think I just noticed a crack in the wall, and I am now concerned this entire structure will just implode on my head. So it's a new fear of mine. Oh, fun one in case no one else had this fear yet. I think I've always had a healthy terror in regards to hippos, and I don't think I'm necessarily alone in my fear of them. Sharks, sure, whatever, I get it. Jaws made them scary. I could potentially stand a better chance against a shark, but a hippo? I saw a video this last week of a hippo running across like the bottom of this lake and then leaped out after a boat. Then that led me down like a whole rabbit hole of looking up hippo attack videos. Those things can run and they're thick. Imagine that thing like shuffling towards you. Terrifying. Anyone else trying to tell me that my fear of hippos is irrational? It is not true. That's false. My fear of hippos, completely warranted. Anyways, gonna go ride my horse. Give me a second, because there's a lot to digest with what just happened and went down. And I think it's important that I share that ride, and that's why I'm putting it in and posting this. Oh, 1 second. Oh my God, Milton. He's so excited. She's like, I don't like him. Milsy, hang on, you're gonna get kicked, Hang on. Hello, sweetheart. He's gotta take a week. I feel so bad. I feel absolutely horrible. I feel horrendous. I feel terrible for Trin that when I look back through this footage, it is so blatantly obvious that my saddle was not fitting correctly today. It is so clear that my saddle was putting excessive amount of pressure and pinching her right behind her scapula, kind of along like her trapezius muscles. It is so clear she was in pain due to my saddle that I can't believe I didn't pick it up during my ride. When I look at the footage right from the get-go in the walk, she's not comfortable. She's in pain, she's hurting. She almost appears lame because every time she takes a step forward, it's out on her left side that my saddle's putting like a lot of pressure on it. And I'll show the saddle pad too, where when I took the saddle pad off, I could see a clear, distinct difference in the dirt markings and like the sweat marks of where excessive pressure was happening. And it was on her left side that every time she takes a step forward, she throws her head up because it like pinches, and so she drops her back out saying, ow, this freaking hurts. And then when I was riding her, I didn't notice until I asked her to pick up canter, and she kind of took off bucking a little bit, and it wasn't huge excessive bucks, back legs above her ears. It was like little crow hops saying, ow, 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 I'm uncomfortable, something hurts, this doesn't feel right. I didn't know what was going on. So the reason why I was riding it through was I was trying to see what was setting her off, what was causing it. Like I was trying to figure out what the trigger was to cause the bucking, what she was saying she was uncomfortable with or didn't like. And I think in the very beginning of the ride, I didn't really notice because I was so focused on the change of bridle, the bitless factor. I was just kind of attributing any differences that I was feeling to that. But when I look at the video, that wasn't it. The bitless bridle did have some impact because the chin strap, where the noseband had padding on it, the chin strap didn't. And I was really digging into the bones on the bottom side of her chin. And for the bitless bridle, you have to tighten it down a little bit more. That way when you use the rein, it doesn't like twist it on their face into their eye. It was just like there was a lot going on, and the two main things that were really setting her off was she was in pain because of the chin strap of the bridle, and she was in pain because my saddle wasn't fitting correctly. And I feel horrible. I feel terrible that I didn't like immediately get off and try to figure out what was going on. I feel so bad that she just had to suffer that ride, that I was so ignorant when I was on her back. I didn't know what was going on. I am so grateful I filmed it though, because it's blatantly obvious. I will show the footage and do like a little voiceover talking it through, explaining kind of what was going on and showing you what is so clear that she was saying like ow, ow, ow. The reason why like I included the first half of the footage was because I don't know, it's just kind of a good reminder that on YouTube you can literally edit anything and make a bad ride appear somewhat decent. I mean, it's pretty obvious still in the footage that like she was tight, she was tense, and wasn't relaxed. But all at the same time, you can edit things on YouTube. This that I'm gonna show is uncomfortable to show. It's painful for me to watch, you know? And all of us have that experience where you go back and watch like your dressage test and you're like, oh my God, who let me ride a horse?
Okay, so just kind of diving in right here at the beginning. When I asked her to trot, this was our first upward transition of the day, she was already hollow and pretty short in her strides, and it's because the saddle is putting a lot of pressure right behind her left shoulder, or on her, like right behind her left scapula. And if you pay attention to her left front leg here, she almost looks lame. And it's because of the pressure the saddle's exuding on her shoulder. And I'm already kind of a crooked rider, so sometimes I carry more weight in my left stirrup, which means I was not helping the situation at all, or even remotely. And then she started coming up the hill here a little bit. She was kind of trying to stretch over her top line and change her stride. And I'm guessing that was because she was trying to figure out a way to relieve that pressure and see if one way of striding felt better than a different way. But as you can clearly see in this clip, she wasn't able to find that release, and every time she stretches forward that left front leg, she tosses her head in the air because the pressure the saddle was exuding amplifies at that part of her stride. And then when I first asked her to canter, of course she's going to be hollow and stiff and still trying to tell me like, I'm in pain. And picking up the left lead first meant that with how her muscles expand and contract, that she was feeling a lot of pain, especially on that left lead. And every time we go up or down a hill, the saddle pressure changes, and you'll see a huge reaction here. Like right there, every time she took a stride forward going downhill, the saddle was just kind of jamming her right there in her shoulder. And she didn't want to hang on to her left lead. She kept wanting to swap leads and switch back over to the right, obviously because she's in pain. Like she is in so much pain here, it hurts.
Our steering has changed.
Of course our steering had changed. She was struggling at moving without pain. She was hurting, so she was trying to like throw her body different directions, and because I wasn't listening to her, her reactions started becoming louder and louder because she wasn't getting anywhere. And I'm guessing as the ride went on, her shoulder got more and more sore, making her reactions even bigger. And then we crashed. which, oh, such an embarrassing moment. I can't believe that. You can see where she goes to duck her head down to buck. She was not looking where she was going. Obviously, she was focused on the pain of the saddle. And then I was trying to steer her away, but with the change in bridle, she just, all communication went out the window, and we ran smack dab into the middle of a freaking tree. So, proud moment for me and my horse. God, I feel so bad. I feel horrible, guys. I'm terrible.
So that's new. That's not normal.
Quick disclaimer. I wasn't laughing because I thought it was funny. I was laughing because I was really confused and wasn't aware of what was going on.
Trin's gone wild.
I'm so sorry, honey.
Oh.
Alright, well, try that one again.
Which, of course, isn't going to change anything because the saddle's not changing right now.
A tree.
Nice, sweetie.
I just never thought it was actually going to happen. We've all seen that one cross-country blooper of the girl running cross-country on the Palomino, and her and the horse hit the tree, and she goes off, and I'm always like, man, that would suck if that was me. I never thought it would be me. It was me.
You both ran into the tree.
I don't think she was looking where she was going.
Jeez.
To be fair, neither of us was looking.
Oh my god. I got a tree on me.
I picked up Canner again, and you can see here she keeps trying to switch her lead, especially going up the hill. I'm guessing the pressure from the saddle was just getting that much worse. And I still, at this point, I have no idea that it's my saddle causing this. I thought I wasn't aware what was going on. And so I tried switching directions, seeing if picking up the right lead made anything better. But by this point in the ride, she was probably just so sore and tired from the saddle pinching her that it didn't matter which direction we were going. Her reactions were getting louder and louder because she felt like she was being ignored. She was saying it hurts, and I wasn't listening. We just kept going. Shortly here, though, I realized that while her reactions just keep getting louder and bigger, I kind of realized that we weren't getting anywhere with me continuing the ride on, and she started, getting really heavy in the bridle and started going behind vertical, and that was nothing that I wanted to have happen. And so I stopped here, like right after the video cut, we got off. I am going to palpate her back after this, see if she has any sore spots, sore areas, because obviously there's a lot to unpack with that ride, with what just happened. And I'd like to say, the fact that my horse is bucking does not make me a good rider. In fact, that makes me very concerned. Why was she bucking? What was causing it? What was triggering it? Because that wasn't a, oh, I feel good buck. That was a very, I'm uncomfortable. And the reason I kept riding her through it was because I was trying to figure out what was going on, what was setting it off. The plan is I'm going to palpate her back afterwards just to see if there's any sore soft spots. Not soft spots, it should all be soft. But see if there's any, spots that when I run my fingers along it, that she automatically drops her back. Because that is room for concern. So we'll see. We'll figure it out. But, yeah, that was, to say the least, unexpected. I think the tree caught us both off guard. Okay, I think this part right here, being what it is, really bothered her. And I think it was biting into the bones right here. So I think she was kind of sensitive up here right when I got off, and whenever I put my hands on, when they twitch their skin for flies. She did that a little bit when I went to put my hand on her shoulder right here, right after I moved the saddle, but she's since stopped that. But I think that could have been indicating that my saddle was causing pressure up here in this area. Her back was really dropped when I removed the saddle. It's a little bit better now because I did carrot stretches and some other stretches with her. All right, back palpation. Palpation? All right, she doesn't seem to have any super sore spots. So, it's pretty obvious that my saddle was hurting. I'm laughing because I'm so uncomfortable and I feel horrible that my poor horse had to suffer through a ride with such ill-fitting saddle that I remember I put it on her, and I always run my hand underneath my saddle when I put it on and check, and I was like, oh, it feels a little tight right here on her shoulder, but I don't know, in my head I was like, that's not the end of the world, it'll be totally fine. And then I got on, rode, and my horse very clearly said, hey, this isn't kosher, not a huge fan. And thank goodness I recorded that ride, because otherwise I don't think I would have realized it was my saddle as quickly as I would have, So tomorrow the plan to give the Bitless Bridle a clean slate, try everything all over again. I'm going to put my dressage saddle on that I know fits, and then I'm going to ride again in the Bitless Bridle. I also made a few changes to it where
The chin strap, I kind of pointed out in the video that it was really biting into her chin, especially with the Nalanta style, that for it to work properly, you have to tighten it down on their nose, typically a little bit tighter than that 2-finger noseband tightness that we're all used to. That way it doesn't twist around on their face and like slide the cheek pieces into their eyes, as well as just completely rotate on their heads. So I put a little memory foam pad underneath the chin strap, or I'm going to put a little memory foam pad underneath the chin strap, and hopefully that will help things go a lot better, be smoother, and we'll have a better ride tomorrow.
We also have the little foam thing now on that chin strap underside. Hopefully she'll like the buckle situation there along her chin better than she did last time. We're gonna get going and see if we're any better. I don't have anyone to film for me today, so if we run into a tree, fingers crossed we don't, if we run into a tree, you'll never know. Hi, pretty girl. I also realized though that putting the foam on the chin strap a little bit actually changed how the reins hang, and they're pulling the circles out to the side a little bit more now because it's not as tight of a fit to her face. So I am going to start looking into other bitless bridles because I don't think this is going to be the one for us, but fingers crossed it works out just fine and I don't have to spend more money on another bridle. But I'm actually having a lot of fun testing all these things out and figuring out what this little darling likes.
But I don't want to know the truth. I hear the things that they say about me, but I don't want to know the truth. Don't you ever.
So we just had another bucking fit, and I find myself with my left hand, I'm constantly opening my rein to the inside, kind of trying to keep her that way. And this wheel is flipping up a lot more than I'd like. I'm checking my saddle now, and I'm gonna go do a bridle swap and see if it changes. I don't know if it's something to do with the bitless, this bridle. I don't think it's the bitless factor, but I'm wondering if it's this bridle is bugging her. So we're gonna go change the bridle and see what horse I have after that. But I've checked this saddle, and the saddle doesn't seem to have anything crazy pinching. Maybe it's pinching over here. I don't know, guys. The second time in a row that she's taken off bucking, and like not normal bucks. It's very clearly the I don't like something bucks. I don't know what's going on. Gosh dang it. I wish you could speak English, honey. Hey, that's not run me over. Rude. Okay, I'm actually having second questions about putting my bridle, or my bitted bridle back on. I think maybe if I try the halter. That way I know the bit isn't overriding whatever else is making her uncomfortable, making her want to buck. And we'll just have the halter on and see if that's causing anything, right? Okay, if that doesn't work, then we're gonna fully remove the saddle and I'll just ride her bareback and see if she keeps bucking. But we're gonna figure this out. We're gonna figure it out. All right, this is our new setup. Halter, we adjust the reins attached underneath. That way I'm not pulling this into her face at all. We're gonna turn. And hopefully this does something.
Can't get you out of my mind.
They're still bucking a little bit. Oh, this is our
Can't get you out of my mind.
another tree. We're still kind of bucking.
I think right now you are sick of talking.
Almost just fell off. That could have been bad. Sorry, trying to take you guys along with the journey for me, but I just almost killed myself again. Okay, this is our saddle situation now. Also, yeah, I do have 2 saddle pads beneath the bareback pad because her spine hurts to ride bareback, and I figure if I'm in pain riding her bareback, her spine's probably in pain from my butt. So, you know, I did put my bitted bridle on. The reason I didn't go back to the bitless was just because I don't quite like how the wheel is working on her, and I'm trying to isolate all her different issues. And when I put the halter on, she almost took off and bolted. So we're not going to have that happen. I prefer not to lose her on like a busy highway. So that's why I kind of switched back into this. What I'm worried about, honestly, she's always been very sensitive in her back. I wonder if there's something going on like inside her back beyond just her muscling. I mean, we've had chiropractic adjustments, she's gotten massages and stuff. Obviously nothing quite too recently, but I've never had her back x-rayed, and I'd be very curious to find out if she has anything going on there. She won't walk to the arena now. She's like, ow, it hurts every time we go over there. I don't want to go that way. Come on. Good girl. See, this is how you make a sour horse or a spoiled horse to the arena. I feel so bad. All right, let's go try round 3. Hopefully we get something worked out. I'm sorry, pretty girl. Alright. The bucking's over. It's my saddles. Dang it. Obviously she's fussy in the mouth right now. Easy. Well, wouldn't you know, turns out none of my saddles fit. And I'm gonna listen to her, even if I thought our dressage saddle fit perfectly fine. Obviously it doesn't. She wouldn't have been bucking otherwise or saying it doesn't fit if it didn't actually not fit, which I'm fortunate enough that I have a bareback pad that I can be using in the meantime. I can't really afford a saddle fitter at this moment, so we're not gonna get a saddle fitter out probably in the, oh, you got the itchy faces. I'm not gonna be getting a saddle fitter out probably any time soon, unfortunately, because I just can't afford it right now. But thankfully I have my bareback pad that I can ride in the meantime. That way she can still be getting exercise, I still get a ride, and no one has to feel the pain of an ill-fitting saddle. So there's that. As far as like the Bitless Bridle goes, I don't think it was causing her to buck. However, I don't think she was as big of a fan of it as I thought she was going to be. I'm realizing with these bridles that while they might look great on paper and even great when I receive them in person, the actual application and riding in them kind of susses out if they're good or not, or if my horse in particular likes them. And I think as far as an Nalanta bridle goes, I'm not a fan. She's not a fan. She wasn't a huge proponent or supporter of the chin strap, as well as I don't like that style that you have to tighten it down to keep it from sliding around her face and pulling the cheek pieces into her eyes. I also not a huge fan of the wheel factor, which I know some you can like switch the reins above the chin strap and that stops it from flipping up. However, on the Nalanta bridle, it's sewed on so you can't switch the reins in the chin strap, which means that at times the metal wheel flips up and kind of digs sideways into her face, which ideally, you know, we'd be having good enough communication that wouldn't happen. It's still kind of happening. There is another Bitless Bridle I really want to try by Karen Rolfe, I think is her name. She's a Grand Prix dressage rider, and I really like a lot of the points that she makes behind her Bitless Bridle design. But once again, it's one of those that might look great on paper, look great when it arrives in person, but I won't be sure about it until I actually put it on Trin and use it and see how she takes to it, because all her horses react differently to different things. So I feel horrible saying I don't super like the Nalanta bridle, because I do like Jesse Trin. I don't know how to say it. I know Matt says his Matt. Since when am I on first name basis with Matt Harneke? I know when Matt Harneke says his name, he says Yesa. So I don't know if that's how you actually say his name. I figure he probably knows best since he like lives with him and stuff. But I don't know. I'm getting off topic. Anyways, like I feel bad at giving the Nalanta bridle a poor review just because I feel like everyone else is giving such positive review and positive feedback on it. But with Trin, she did not like it. And I've ridden in it several times now, and I'm gonna keep going in it, obviously, to account for the learning curve factor. And can't expect to put a new bridle on, a new style, and have her just pick it up right like that. Obviously, we've been riding in a bit for years. There is no way the training from the bit automatically switches over into the Bitless Bridle. You have to train or retrain some of the discrepancies or like new aids being provided by the Bitless Bridle. So I understand that, and we're going to keep working with it to see if like any of these issues I'm having with it kind of resolve themselves. But right now, the big thing that she doesn't like is the chin strap on it, and even when I put the kind of the softer foam material at the bottom, it was still kind of biting into her chin a bit, and she really didn't like that, as well as the total design of it, of where you have to tighten it down a little bit tighter, that typical 2-finger measurement for nosebands. She doesn't like that. I don't like that. I thought I'd be able to get around it on my own, but it doesn't really look like I can do that. Does that make sense? I don't know. Please no one come for me because I'm not giving it a positive review. This is honestly just what's happening. I'm just updating you on the ins and the outs and what's going down. Yeah, see you guys next time.